Pac-Man All-Stars is a game in the PC game lineup that was published by Infogrames and developed by Creature Labs. It was released in 2002 for Windows XP and was the last of the 3 games in the lineup. This game is a competitive multiplayer score attack game with a few power-ups and modes to shake up the gameplay, although they aren't that interesting. Story mode's story is not explicitly told in the game, but is rather explained in the manual, which we all know everyone reads and looks through for the story.
Oh boy, a new game! I can't wait to read the install instructions!
The story explains that fairies are making Pac-Man's Pac Dots, and the ghosts kidnap those fairies, specifically Wandy the Wizard, and Pac-Man and gang have to go to the Ghost Realm to go and save them. The gameplay is all the same throughout the entire mode, with one exception. The majority of the game is just have the highest score before time runs out, and if you fail to do so, then you lose a life and have to restart the level. The exception is when you complete a world. Upon the completion of a world, you have to face off against the Ghost Gang, which sounds much cooler than it actually is. To win the face-off, you have to, get ready, clear the screen before time runs out. Riveting. I couldn't be bothered to complete the story mode, so I didn't play the final level. Adventure mode is just story mode, but this time with the ability to play over LAN or locally on one machine, which is crammed because players 2, 3, and 4 use WASD, TFGH, and IJKL, while player 1 uses the arrow keys, and is actually the luckiest of the 4. Head-to-head is more of the same gameplay out of the box. Be the first to reach X amount of points. Unless you sit through the entire game and play single player multiple times, then you won't unlock the unlockable modes. The unlockable modes are Paint a Pellet, which is unlocked on medium difficulty. The maze is completely filled with yellow pellets. When a pack runs over the yellow pellets, the pellet's color changes and the dot color is changed. When all pellets are painted, the player who has painted the highest percentage of pellets wins. Grab a Hat is unlocked upon the completion of story on hard difficulty. The packs have captured Wandy's hat. Every second that your pack is carrying the hat, you get a point. If another player makes contact with you while you are wearing the hat, they will steal it from you. The first pack to reach 100 points wins. The out-of-box gameplay is a tad bland, but surely the power-ups are enough to shake up the gameplay, right? Right? The power-ups are Speed Up, which increases movement speed by 50%, Stun, all other players are stunned for 5 seconds, Magnetic Pack, pellets in your immediate vicinity are attracted to your character, Strong Pack, colliding with other players stuns them for 5 seconds, wiping out part of your opponent's score. Multiplier, points collected are multiplied by a minimum of 4 times. Power Pellets, renders all players invulnerable to ghost attacks, and Thief, player steals 10 points each time they bump into another player. Those are not that interesting. Golden Maze did better. So Pac-Man All-Stars. What do I think? Overall, my experience with story mode was extremely boring. Mostly because the gameplay was very samey, just the same thing over and over and over and over. For what I can only assume is about 3 hours? I could only stomach an hour and a half of consecutive just sitting and playing the game. The AI made the game either extremely difficult or extremely easy. It was random. Sometimes they'd stand around. Sometimes they would be a tool-assisted speedrunner. So the game was very difficult when trying to unlock the multiplayer modes, and sometimes it was a pushover. I didn't bother to unlock the multiplayer modes. Another problem that I have with story mode is its lack of explicit story, which is explained in the manual, but as I made a joke about, no one really reads manuals. I do think, most of the time, manuals are neat, they have cool stuff in them. But I think that mostly about console games. A PC game, I definitely didn't expect there to be anything worthwhile in the manual because, I expected it to mostly just be to install the game, put the disc into the drive, and click on the install button. I do think, though, this game does have potential to be extremely fun if you actually play it multiplayer. If there is a more comfortable way of playing the multiplayer than sharing one keyboard, then I could see it being more fun. Some things I do think this game of all games, Golden Maze, did better was power-ups and storytelling. There were at least cutscenes.
of that that showed kind of some kind of progress. Power-ups were also more interesting. Overall, I'd say if you're looking for a fun, competitive Pac-Man experience similar to that of what this game has, I'd say just play, for the best possible experience, play the Dreamcast version of Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. It has the best graphics, and I know the console has 4 controller ports on the front of it, like an N64 or GameCube, which means you don't have to buy an extra accessory like you do with the PS1 version to play 4-player multiplayer. You could probably also get away with the N64 version, but I think from just looking at the controller of the Dreamcast and all, if you have a Dreamcast or are interested in getting one, here's another reason to get one. So that just about does it for my review of Pac-Man All-Stars. If you liked it, including my cheesy jokes and like attempts to being funny, let me know. If you didn't, let me know, and I'll see you all next week.